Hi, my name is Robert Goff. This video is in response to Brendon Burchard's challenge to outline 3 high-performance success principles. And here are 3 success principles. To be successful in my past required organization, communication, and self-discipline. Those 3 principles stood me very well for the 12 years I worked at NASA as a contractor, and another 12 years I worked as a consultant at one of the Bell Labs spin-offs. Organization, communication, self-discipline required in those complex organizations where our daily tasks were filled with not just complex tasks, but tasks that required a lot of interaction with a lot of other people. But I decided that wasn't quite enough for what I need now. I am trying to meet the economic turndown head on. And that's taking a little bit of a change in processing in my mind and in my behavior. So I've got 3 new success principles. You have to believe, embrace, and change. Belief is an interesting word. You can say, I believe in miracles. I believe in God. Do you really believe in, let's say, UFOs? Is that something you believe in? Is that what belief means for you? Sometimes it's easier to think about belief in terms of, from the opposite side. What is it you don't believe in? I don't believe in hate. I don't believe in mass murder. I don't believe in, and there's a whole number of these really negative things that you can say you don't believe in. But if you don't believe in something, if you don't believe that there's a possibility to meet the economic turnaround and meet the economic situation and make that turnaround, then that's what I mean by belief. You have to at least think that it's possible. So I believe, I know that we can take this economic downturn that we've had and turn it around and make it economic growth. And I'll explain how to do that. But first, you have to be able to believe that you can do it. This is awkward. Left and right is so strange on this camera. So belief is one thing that I'm going to ask of you, and it's one thing you need in order to change. Why? Because of the next principle, embrace. You may believe something or think you believe something, but not embrace it. How can you tell you've really embraced something? You can tell you've embraced it because you're now willing to talk about it. You're now willing to speak out loud about it to people people you know at a social gathering, to people you don't know in a line at the grocery store. This, for me, is the ultimate test of, do you embrace a particular belief? Change. The significance of the word change is the action that is implied. Do you believe that you can take action and actually force a change? And I'm here to tell you that we can do it. I've outlined a principle that I call candling community growth. Candling community growth is based on the fact that, one, that we are a capitalistic society, and 2, that we are a consumer-driven society. And it's because we are consumer-driven that I know we can do this. Because you, listening to this, are probably a consumer. And once you believe that you can change just a little bit, you can make big changes by taking small steps. Because many of us, taking small changes will have a large effect. Okay? For example, let me tell you about some research that was done. A civics economics study in Western Michigan showed that shifting only 10% of your purchases to locally owned businesses would create nearly $140 million in new economic activity. I didn't make these up. This is a funded study that has determined that just a 10% shift in your spending habits from big box mart and franchises to locally owned stores can create $140 million in new economic activity. That can add over 1,600 new jobs. That can provide over $50 million in new wages. Now, that's a study that was done in Western Michigan for that area. In the San Francisco Bay Area, it was determined that they could create nearly $192 million in new economic activity and add almost 1,300 new jobs. Again, this is not me making up numbers. These are studies that you can look up. You can do research on. I was going to say look up on the internet, as if anything you read on the internet or hear on the internet should be believed. Try Wikipedia. Maybe there's something there. But you can do research. And what I'm asking people to do is to believe that we can turn around our economic downturn, that we can increase our economic position locally. Everything happens locally. The consumer spends most of his or her money locally. And that's the secret, is consumers spending locally. And spending at local stores, because local stores, the reason these numbers are so big is more money spent at local stores stays in that local economy. When you spend money in a big box mart or in a franchise, more of that money goes outside of your local economy. And the small amounts of money that we're talking about, spending 10% of your regular spending, you can't turn the economy around if it's spread too thin. But you can definitely positively impact your local economy. And that's what we're trying to do. That's the challenge. So, studies show that about 3.5 times more money stays in the local economy when purchasings are shifted to a local store. So that's our challenge, is to believe that this will work, to embrace it, meaning we're willing to talk about it. We're talking about it with our friends, with our family, with strangers. That's embracing it, to making it real to us, not just believing it intellectually, but making it real to us. And then change, actually changing our behavior in order to affect this economic turnaround. You can do this as long as many of us are working together to make this happen. We can do it. It's a charged political atmosphere right now, but I'm going to say this anyway. Waiting for the government to try and improve the economy is ridiculous. That's like expecting the government to have some kind of big committee and study to find a way to have our wives give birth in only 7 months instead of in 9 months. There's a natural rhythm to our economy, and it all starts at a local level where we are taking money out of our wallets and giving it to a store. That's where the power is. That's where your belief needs to be, and you can make this happen.